Welcome, everybody, to Slipangle Show. That was very anticlimactic.
I think we're on two different shows now.
Technically.
I forgot to dub in all the applauding. Dang it.
Well, so
Yeah.
what shows are we on? We're on 1010's podcast and we're on Slipangle Show. So I'm Adam Jabaay. Who else do we have here?
I'm Austin Cabot.
Got Michael Beck.
Adam Nielsen.
And Robbie Veerhout.
What's up, buddies?
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Remember that one time that we gave beers to Matt Farrow? That was neat.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
You know that he tried to pay Robbie for that beer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he might have been about
He's-
10 beers in at the time.
He was looking at Robbie longingly. He's like, I want that beer.
Can I buy that Busch
Can I buy
Light?
that beer from you? He's like, no, sir.
No, sir. That Busch Light is free
Your
for
money
you.
is no good here.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, he gave us that "Save me from these people" look. That was pretty good too.
Who? From
Yeah, he got-
Austin
he
and
got-
I?
No.
There were just some random people that mobbed him when he got out of his car.
It was pretty amazing. We were in the dark at Gridlife at the tower. I figured nobody could see him, and somehow they just knew the presence of Matt Farrow was there. People started flocking in.
Well, they'd see the light from the tower reflecting off of his dome.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, his,
Like a beacon.
His perfectly polished Harry's razor's head. It
I
shines.
assume we're getting a plug for that.
Oh,
A little
yeah,
sponsorship
we're working
money.
on. We're working on.
Our,
You know, we
our
got
30
some,
cents.
We got
Yes.
some irons in the fire. You know.
Ooh, exciting.
Actually, we don't.
Damn it. I thought we had something to talk about off air.
No. So what's going on with you guys? You're in the middle of a thunderstorm over there in Iowa.
Yeah, it's getting kind of real out there from the looks of it.
Yeah, it just started downpouring.
Hoping we don't lose power.
Yeah, that'd be not fun at all.
But hey, Robbie got some good news today about your ECU.
My ECU's coming. Should be your Saturday.
So for those that don't know, Robbie's got a 240 that hasn't run in how long?
9-10 months. 9
Jeez.
months.
And you had that AEM ECU, and for some reason it just didn't work when you put the engine back together.
Yep. So yeah, even with a bad tune and a new wiring harness and this other ECU, it ran dramatically better than the AEM ever did.
What AEM? The old
The-
EMS.
EMS Series 2.
Okay. We had problems about 10 years ago tuning an EMS Series 1. I guess their new Infinity stuff is like so much easier to play with, but
Yeah, that's what people are saying. Everyone I talked to, like at Gridlife too, they're saying that I tell them about my problem. They go, "Oh yeah, what do you have for EMS? Oh, AEM. Oh, there's your problem."
yeah,
Yeah, the dude-
They seriously knew nothing else about
The
it.
dudes from BC said ditch it. This other guy that had a car, he had a 240 there that didn't even run that day.
Yeah, he was having similar issues, and he goes, "Yeah, your
Oh,
problem's
that's
your AEM."
probably Ryan Weddle. Like
There's
up by the tower?
A black
Yeah, the
one
black
right
one.
there by the tower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew you guys knew him. I just couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, if you got that guy's phone number, Robbie's supposed to buy that car. So
Yeah, he was trying to sell it to Robbie.
he's been on our show actually.
Yeah.
perfect. There you go, Robbie. You
Yeah.
can buy that
Yeah,
car.
we know
If not,
Ryan.
you
He went
missed
ice
out.
racing with us.
Yeah, do you
Or
remember
with me.
Did-
Adam bitched out that day.
No, I familyed out that day. It's even worse. Did you
That's an
guys
Adam
did you
thing,
guys
I
listen to the
understand.
terrible like after cart party show with Hillary? Cause
Oh, God, that was so
because
bad.
that was recorded at
So
Ryan's
bad.
house. It was so bad.
Have you guys been drinking that night?
And well, we hadn't really been drinking, but
Oh, okay.
Hillary had been drinking. But
never did-
I actually just got a text from somebody today saying I'm listening to that show with Hillary. Hillary rules. So some people enjoyed it, but
Yeah, we found that putting out 2 shows a week makes people fall even further back. So, like, we'll get texts occasionally from stuff we did, like, 6 months ago.
yeah.
Oh, I've been getting that. There's a friend of mine that finally figured it out. Now that we're at 32 episodes, he finally figured out that I'm doing a podcast. I'm like, dude, I've been posting on Facebook for the last 6 months, and now he's sending me texts from episodes that are 15 episodes ago, and I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about.
That'll
Do
happen.
you have that
Oh,
problem
it-
too, where you don't remember what you talked about?
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, and we'll get, like, people, like, walk up to us and be like, hey, do you remember in episode yada, 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 you talked about this? I'm like, no. Don't.
No,
Sorry.
sorry.
Nope. Sorry.
I have a hard time doing that from the week before, let alone 6 months ago.
Well, I can't imagine for you guys when you got like really far ahead. I know you guys did some shows and had them like banked for a while.
Yeah, and then Austin
I can't
lost
even.
them.
No,
Oh,
I
you
found
lost
them.
them?
I found them this week.
Oh, yeah.
So I got four more recorded from my April trip to California.
Yeah, there was like 2 months there where we didn't record because we had banked up it was like 8 or 9 shows, right?
Yeah.
Or
I think that was
might have been
when I
12.
came out here to LA and you came out.
Yeah, and then you were in Chicago for a while, and we did a ton of them here.
Oh yeah.
You had a bunch from PRI too, didn't you?
Yeah, we did it. We did at least one there, but it was right around that time frame. We had I think we were like a month ahead, and then I didn't talk to Austin for like 3 weeks, and it was like, hey, I think we need to do some shows again. Yeah,
We need to go to PRI.
PRI
Yeah,
is fun.
you
You
guys-
guys are
you
close
guys
enough.
should.
Yeah.
That place looks awesome.
Do you
Looks
have,
like a lot of fun.
do you have to work there next year, Austin, or no?
Yes, I will be there.
Cool.
And I'll also be at SEMA. So anybody that's going to SEMA, hit me up. Anybody that's going to PRI, hit Adam and I up.
Yeah, PRI.
I
Is,
assume you're going to go to PRI again, Adam.
I'm gonna actually try to go to SEMA for a day this year. Last year, I it was just too many things, but we'll see. Yeah,
Sweet.
PRI is nice and close. That's fun.
Is PRI like SEMA where you got to have an industry connection to get in?
A little bit.
If you have your podcast, you'll be fine. That's what we used last year
Okay.
to get in.
Oh, so you just applied through the podcast?
Yeah, through media stuff. Yeah.
Perfect.
I think I might have.
So-
I think I might have got something through Gridlife. I can't remember. Maybe I got something through the podcast, and Brad Adams got my Gridlife thing. I don't remember. But yeah, you have to.
It was
do
a good time.
It's a cool show. It's kind of like it's all the stuff you'd be interested in. There's like no neon and like. Big,
Oh, Robbie can't
What
come
do you,
now?
what do- what do you mean
Bored.
there's no neon?
There's no molded 240SX body kits.
Yeah,
And
dude, functional.
What color
Functional
is what
cars.
color is your molded 240SX body kit, Robbie?
It's House of Color Platinum Pearl.
That's the best answer I could have imagined.
I was going to say silver, but I knew you wanted that answer.
Platinum House of Color Platinum Pearl. Yeah, that's
How many colors is that actually? Is it 2 colors?
It's just, it's the base coat and then like just a, I don't know, top coat.
That's
Yeah, but
specific,
there's a
though.
gold base coat, isn't there?
No.
Oh, there's not.
That's
Okay.
just
the
how
original color.
That's how
Oh,
transparent
okay.
it is.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the molded body kit, man. That brings me back to like 15 years ago. That's old stuff, man.
Fast and the Furious.
Oh,
yeah.
Adam dropped his mic.
Dropping
You can
mics.
always tell too when like someone with a molded body kit like ran up against a curb. It just pops like right where they molded it in. It's always the best.
That's why Robbie won't drift his 240, and we're gonna make it happen.
He's going to. You should come out on Saturday if your ECU shows up.
He's probably been the car's probably been running fine, and he's just afraid to drive it.
He's afraid of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've skipped out on all the races all season because I didn't want to mess it up.
He's been telling us it makes 450 horsepower, so maybe it doesn't make that much, and he's afraid to show us.
Yeah,
Nah, I could admit that if it was wrong.
it's totally running fine. I guarantee it. He's just afraid.
Jabaay, I'm going out and drifting this weekend, and it's your fault. And I'm doing it in a car that's 40 years old.
Hell
so,
yeah,
and
dude.
carbureted.
and carbureted.
Just this
not gonna
morning,
go well.
Just this morning, I was starting to try to put your article up on tracktune.com that you wrote, and
Yeah.
I can't. I need you to email me the pictures. I can't get them off the Google Doc.
Yeah, it's fine. I will.
I don't know.
I'll send them
I don't
to
know
you.
what I'm doing wrong. Austin, I'm so
Are you
bad
technology
at everything.
challenged?
Oh, so bad. So
It took
bad.
him 30 minutes to get on the Skype call, so that'll tell you
He's
something.
he's a little technically challenged. That's why he's still running D series stuff.
That's right,
B
and-
series stuff is just too technologically advanced.
Dude, I'm OBD0 for life, son.
I've got no room to talk. I still have a carbureted car with no computer.
There's
so.
nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing
I
wrong
want
with
away
that.
from it.
The,
But the problem is the RX-7 hasn't run yet, so I've got an RX-7 too that will probably actually become the drift car. The Fiat is the interim drift car because I'm really want to try drifting and see if I can keep it out of the wall.
oh, it sounds so fun.
I think the only way to get that car started, because it's an amalgamation of Craigslist parts. Like it's a Craigslist. So the engine came from a cop car that I bought off Copart, and I put some Craigslist heads on, and it's got a Craigslist T56 transmission and a Craigslist RX-7 rear diff. So there's a high likelihood that none of these things work, or one of those particular things doesn't work, and the car won't move.
So
I may
high.
have to put a carburetor on it just to see if I could get it to move under its own power.
Yeah, that's huge likelihood of not starting.
Oh, absolutely.
What heads
I
do
have
you
a
have on that thing?
screenshot.
What's that?
What heads did you put on that thing?
They're just Trans Am aluminum heads.
Okay.
The ones that come on the cop car for the LT1, which
Okay.
I did not LS swap it. I LT swapped it because I'm difficult. So I put it the engine that comes out of the cop car has iron heads on it.
Yeah,
so I put
yeah.
aluminum heads from some random Trans Am on it. So
Is the cop
nothing
car
crazy.
LT1 the same as like the 94 to 96 Impala SS?
Yep, it's the same engine.
I loved my dad. My dad had a
Sweet.
96 Impala SS, and that was the first thing I ever
damn
drag
it,
raced.
damn it, damn it. I hate that car so much.
I've been trying to convince Nielsen here that it's a great car.
Oh, they're so
not.
great. They're so
They're so
great.
ugly.
Come on, dude.
They're just
if you're
so
gonna do it
uninteresting.
right. Do like the Roadmaster. Get the wagon.
Yeah.
you gotta get the wagon.
Yeah,
In
then-
college, I seriously test drove a Roadmaster and really, really wanted it really
Oh,
badly.
you should have picked it up.
I
man.
know I should have. The price is a little high, though.
My
Price is a little
buddy
high.
had one with Impala SS wheels on and straight pipes, and it was the greatest.
Dude, it is dope, Adam. Come
No,
on.
it's not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
No, the first thing I ever raced when I was 16 was my dad's Impala SS, and it ran 1530s all night long, and it was the best. It was the best night ever. It was.
I remember that
and
story from a previous episode.
It had like 3,000 miles on it at the time. And I went to work the next day, and I was working for my dad. I was like the peon, the gopher, go for coffee, go for the lumber and stuff like that. And one of the guys said, "Did you went racing last night?" And I said, "Yeah, my dad let me take his Impala." And he was like, "No, he didn't. That didn't happen. Don't lie." And it was my dad's baby, and he said, "Go see what it does." And that was the switch got flipped. So that was a great night. I'll never forget that.
Money no object. I would 6-liter swap one of those with like
hell
a
yeah.
6L60E and make it the ultimate cross country tour.
That'd be so fun. They were
It would
super
be.
comfortable inside, especially
Yeah.
the seats were really. There was absolutely no side bolster. You couldn't do anything with them, but it was a really nice interior. Like for '96, it was great. I love that car.
I wish you guys could see Adam Nielsen's face right now. 'cause
Every
he's
year,
so
Good
angry.
Guys, somebody tries to autocross one of those, and there's just so much body roll. They're scraping door handles on the ground when they turn corners. It's so bad.
Well, you can
Do
fix
those things
that
have the
stuff.
speedometer where the bar goes like across?
I think
It's not a circle.
I think
it just like goes all the way across.
94, 95 had the digital dash, and then 96 had analog
Okay.
like sweep gauges. Yeah.
Okay.
94,
You don't want that
95 were
digital
column
dash.
shift. They were column
Yeah.
shift, and then the floor shift was on the 96 only. But
You know too much about those.
yeah, I know these
Did
things.
the earlier cars, did they have bench seats up front?
No, I think they all had it was like a bucket bench, like it was sort of a
Okay.
bench, but like they were seats.
Okay.
But they weren't the epitome of sporty, but I loved how they looked, man. I don't know. That was just my first.
They do. They look sweet.
It was my first loud, fast car. It was great. I was 13, 14 years old. My dad bought that, and I thought it was king shit. It was badass. Yeah, I'll always love those. My wife does not love them, so we can't buy one, unfortunately. I tried to put her in one 3 years ago, and she wasn't having it. She said it looked like a drug dealer car.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the best
what-
part.
The problem
What
is you should have
fun-
bought it then because now they're like 10 grand
Yeah.
for a decent one.
So what fun cars did you guys grow up with in the families? Anything interesting?
Oh gosh.
Adam, you had a ton of stuff.
Yeah. So, I went to my first drag race when I was 2 weeks old. That's the kind of family I lived in.
Nice.
And for most of my life, my dad has owned a tube chassis, like dedicated, not street legal drag car. And then, I mean, he rolled through any number of every muscle car on the planet. The first car I ever drove with my license on the road was a 4-speed big block Firebird.
That doesn't suck.
I almost put it in the ditch because I'm 16. I can handle anything, right? Put my foot to the floor, back end steps out, looking at the ditch. Managed to hold on to it, but it was close. Dad in the passenger seat.
You had some cool stuff too, though, when you finally got your license, didn't you? Because you had a Turbo 2,
I had a Turbo 2 that never ran.
and you had a...
It's like a
you had
reoccurring theme with RX-7s.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
and then what was the other thing that you had? The other weird thing that you had?
I had a Bradley GT, but I only had the body.
You had a
A
Bradley?
Bradley GT's a Volkswagen Beetle kit car.
Hell yeah, that is. I know what that is.
And, oh, dude, they're so 70s. It was like
Is that like the Dune buggy or?
No, they kind of look like a haggard Ford GT40.
Yeah, they sort of
If
do.
somebody was explaining to somebody through the phone what a GT40
I think
looked like, that's what it looks like.
I think I know what you're talking
Yeah, it
about.
looks like a GT40
the-
that you like hit with large pieces of wood, and
It was yellow on the outside,
of course it was.
like very pastel sort of yellow, and then the interior was very high metallic brown. It was so 70s. But that never ran either. So,
Shocking.
Did you ever even have an engine for that?
no, I never even had a chassis for that. It
Oh,
was
really?
literally
It was
just
literally
the body.
just the body.
Yeah,
Okay.
like me and two other friends picked it up and set it on a trailer, and I took it home. And then my dad found someone who wanted it, and I owed him money, so it disappeared.
You ever do anything with it?
Dad stole your car.
I don't have any idea. he sold the RX-7 too, because I owed him money, and it was at the same time basically. And
Turbo 2 RX-7s are actually getting hard to find now.
I saw a nice clean white one yesterday here in Torrance.
Well, you live in California now. Those haven't existed in the Midwest in a decade.
Yeah.
yeah,
All crumbled-
everything's a
crumbled
nice
to
clean in
dust.
California.
That is true. It's been really interesting. Actually, I actually had more fun in Mexico though, because they have a bunch of like goofy stuff that you just don't see in the States.
Where in Mexico were you?
Just Mexicali, just right across the border from Calexico, like Baja California. Nowhere interesting. There's just a lot of like manual labor production down there.
Yeah, industrial stuff, huh?
So yeah, but they have all these like small utes where the front of it is like a standard like, I don't know, like Corolla size car, but then they're just little like trucks in the back.
Well,
I'm sold.
Really,
I want it.
really pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool, man.
Doesn't we talked about? Didn't somebody make a kit for like a Jetta like
Yes.
yours?
Yeah, Smith Performance makes a kit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be so-
and they make one now for the Mark 5 and Mark 6.
That'd be great.
Jettas.
That'd
Really?
be a great truck.
He was
Yeah.
teasing today on his Smith was teasing today on his Facebook page that the next one he's going to build is probably for the Charger.
Oh man,
A pickup kit for the Charger.
Yep.
that'd be great.
Might need one of those actually.
gonna be
Especially if you buy, like,
orange, it's gonna have-
SRT8. Oh man.
Yeah,
So is it
that'd
going to be?
great.
Is it going to be 2-door then?
Yep.
2-door. So it is a Ute. I mean, it's an
Yeah.
Australian Ute.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I
So what
remember
they
a
do,
few
though-
months back on his Facebook, he asked everybody, would you rather see a kit for a Charger or some V8 Mercedes? And everyone went with the Charger.
Yeah,
The V8 Mercedes would be so cheap to buy though.
and terrible,
sick.
And that's
terrible
that's
to
the
keep
thing
alive.
though. The Charger is just a Mercedes chassis though.
That's probably
That's
Like
a
it's
good
the old
point.
Yeah, it is.
E-Class chassis
That is a good
from the
point.
late. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which might
it
be why he
fit
had
both.
those two as options. I don't know.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But it'd be sweet to have a Merc. It'd be hilarious.
Can you imagine taking like an E55 and doing that to it?
Exactly.
yeah,
That's sacrilege.
that'd be
I
so
can't think
awesome.
about that.
it's like German
so
El
awesome.
Camino.
I love the E55.
It's friggin' Nazi
E55
ranchero.
wagon though. You got to do the wagon.
Nazi Ranchero.
Well, what kind of racing have you guys done this summer? You been autocrossing and doing all the freaking cone burning stuff that you do?
Not as much as we would have liked, frankly.
Oh, yep. This was a busy year.
I think for autocross specifically, I think I've only done 2.
Did Gridlife
this year.
ruin your life too?
Gridlife ruined my life for sure in
I think
different
the
ways.
podcast has ruined our life because we're like, oh, we got to do this. We want to go there. We want to see that. We want to meet these people. And then we never have time to do our racing
Yeah.
thing.
By the
anymore.
way, if you love doing something, don't do a podcast about it
Yeah.
because you will no longer do that thing anymore.
Yeah, don't.
I
Just FYI.
look at me. We still do the podcast, but I'm out of all cars, and I'm looking at selling my only car that I have left,
doing
and not even owning a
motorcycles.
car anymore. And I help run a podcast about tracking cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you still do instruction though, so
Yeah, I'm
That's
still
fair.
around. But that's I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird.
like one of those things. Yeah. It's like going to the mechanic that has the car that never runs.
Yeah, the carpenter's house is never built, and the freaking cobbler's kids that don't have shoes. I don't know.
Like,
So-
do I really want to like learn how to drive from the guy that doesn't even own a car?
okay, fair enough. So Austin, how can I talk you into this Harley dirt track?
Oh hell
bike
yeah!
thing?
Talk him into this.
Oh,
what,
yeah.
what do you mean talk me into it?
Oh, are you
don't
sold
need any
already?
talking into
Okay.
Yeah.
Buy a bike,
I'm just,
dude.
I'm going
how
to a
can I
race on the
expedite the
20th.
timeline for you to do this then? Does
Find me a Sportster that's like $1,500.
There was one.
it have to run?
There was a nice
Yeah,
one on Craigslist
yeah,
here
I'd like
in
it to
Des Moines for
run.
25.
25?
I bet you could talk down to
That's,
2.
You don't want a
25,
nice one, though.
It's,
I'm
oh,
just going to wreck it. So that's the thing. Like, think demolition derby style, but for motorcycles.
Oh, that sounds so
And that's the
bad.
condition that I need. That's the condition that I need.
What
how's the bike that's in your garage, Michael?
It's in pieces. It's not a Sportster.
what are you allowed to do to the?
Can we make it?
What are you allowed to
No.
do to the bike, Austin? Like, what can you do to it?
Anything that your budget will really allow, as long as it still stays a 1200 V-twin.
So like, it's got
So
to be
some of
stock
these guys have
motor,
like
or-
carbon fiber wheels and stuff, but like you
Do they
could
like
easily
lower them and rake them out a bit, or
So
or-
some of the shocks and stuff, like some of them run Olin's. So this class,
Jesus.
like Roland Sands Designs or Roland Sands competes in it with like factory-backed Indian scouts that have been converted, into
my
flat track
God.
bikes. Then they have like
That's crazy.
Öhlins and like really nice like magnesium wheels, and it's the sky's the limit.
Oh,
But
jeez, that's so rad.
yeah,
The problem is going to be
so-
finding a 1200. Most of the Sportsters you're going to find that are cheaper 883s.
883s, yeah. But it's an 86 to 2002, so I mean $4,000 is like the top of the market for those things.
Oh, sure.
So we'll see. But I'm trying to figure out. I kind of want a bike that I can ride long distances too, and that really wouldn't be the bike. And my current Super Motard is not the bike either. So
You need yourself a Honda Goldwing.
there you go. I'm convinced I need 3 bikes in the garage.
You can fit
My
3 bikes
wife
in one
does
parking
not
spot.
really agree. Well, that's the thing. It's more like I need to fit 2 in a car in one parking spot, and then the Super Motard on the street.
Sounds perfect.
So
you got this
Parking a
worked
bike
out.
on the street just scares me.
yeah, I mean, if it gets stolen, whatever. I've got full coverage. No big deal.
Yeah, if it's a cheap bike, if it's just your commuter bike, something
yeah, I've
happens to
got
it.
like $2,500 in it, and it
Yeah.
has full coverage on it. So, and that's why it's the commuter too. Like, if someone backs into it and knocks it over, it's a dirt bike. Who cares? Mm-hmm. I wrecked it twice last summer. No big deal.
You're not supposed
Is
to
that-
tell
is that
Jessica
the-
that. She doesn't know.
Oh,
It's a good thing she stopped listening like 20, 40, probably 50 episodes ago.
She can probably hear you right now. Yeah,
She's not looking at me.
Yeah,
so she's watching
Austin,
the Olympics.
Austin crashed it at the tail of the dragon, didn't you?
Yeah. I had a nice little low side at like 40 miles an hour, but I had my leathers on. So
That'll
I was
happen.
fine. I just picked it up, laughed a little bit, and kept going the rest of the weekend.
LOLs, bro.
what is that? Is it a Yamaha or a Suzuki? Or?
Yeah, it's just a little Yamaha WR250.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So
With turn signals, obviously.
yeah, it's a good little bike for like lane splitting and filtering at traffic lights. So that's the best because you sit up real high and
Yeah.
it's fun.
That's what we
it's
did.
definitely a good method of transportation here in the LA area.
That's what we're
Didn't
getting.
California-
We're going to talk
didn't
about that
California-
on Slipangle, like indefinitely from now on. We're going to talk about cheap motorcycles and lane splitting. That's what our podcast is going to. It's going to be about now. That's it. So, I'm into that thing.
We can still talk about cars, man.
No, cars are stupid. I'm burned out on these things.
Said the
I mean,
car
Slipangle
podcast.
pertains to like if I start tracking bikes too, right?
Slipangle
Yeah, I
could
think
be
that's
a,
fair.
Certain level of Slipangle.
it could be a
involved.
good drift podcast too. We should all get into that.
Drift
It
angle.
could.
Yeah.
Drift angle.
Yeah.
I've decided I'm going to be the chase car because I watched Farah and Larry Chen's video.
That looks like
and
so
that
much
looked-
fun.
God, it looked hilarious,
Oh,
and I
it's
would
the
love to do
greatest.
that in my Omni. It'd be super funny.
We,
I think all you really need is those guys. Well, I don't know what the rules are at Gridlife, but for our local events, the O Drift Collective events, you need a full cage, which Adam has in the Omni.
It's true.
So I'm pretty sure if we do a little sweet talking, we could get Adam's Omni out on the track, and they could do some.
I'm just
we could do
gonna
some
chase
chase
him.
shots.
I don't know if the organizers will let you do that at Gridlife though.
you guys know.
No,
you
no,
guys
no,
want to
no,
know
probably not.
how to make things happen at Gridlife? You need.
What's that?
You want to know how to make things happen at Gridlife? You talk to
What's that?
Austin and I, and then things can happen at Gridlife.
Yeah, but then I have to get my car to South Haven, Michigan,
Yeah,
which
dude.
would be either the longest trip of my life or I'd have to buy a truck and trailer.
Just tell Michael to cash in some freaking
Shit.
some trust fund and then buy you like a 1,500 and an enclosed.
they're bearer bonds. Okay.
Sounds like
Jabay.
you need a Buick Roadmaster to tow
yeah,
with.
that's what you need.
Yeah,
yeah. You,
there you
No,
you
I need an RV.
You need an Impala SS and you need a flatbed trailer.
Dude, I'm pretty sure those things can tow like 5,000,
that's gotta
6,000
They
pounds.
can.
Oh yeah,
They can.
They're like 40 feet
convinced
long, man. No problem.
I'm convinced my S10 would do fine with a car dolly in the Omni.
The
He would just need to stop at every O'Reilly's he sees and get a quart of oil.
Yeah, I'd have to stop every. I mean, every
100
half
miles.
tank I got to fill up oil.
You're burning
half
more
tank of
oil than you
gas.
are fuel.
Yeah, for sure.
It's at least a 1-to-1. They sell oil at gas stations. You'll be all right.
my my 5.9 Cummins swapped F350. It loses about 2 quarts of oil between oil changes, and it doesn't burn any oil. It just loses it. It all falls out. I know the feels. I got them feels, man. It's cool, bro. Yeah, it all falls out of like every Dodge part on that poor Cummins truck.
See, but that's the crappy part about diesels, though, because you can say you lose 2 quarts of oil, and it's like 10% down max. If you lose 2 quarts of oil in like a Honda, you're at 50%.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I could probably run that thing out of oil and still have off the dipstick and still have 12 quarts in it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's real expensive.
we dropped 2 quarts of oil out of your S10 on the coldest day.
Oh God, that was the
Oh,
worst
that
day
was a
of my
bad
life.
idea. So it was
So it's not oil, it's like pudding.
sludge at that point. It was what was it, January or something like that?
Yeah,
We had a blizzard warning, and we decided we were going to drive 4 hours away to a swap meet because we're crazy. And I didn't even need anything. I was just like, yeah, let's just go to a swap meet. Screw it. It's snowing. It's not going to be that big a deal. On the drive there, we saw how many semis go in the ditch around us?
that one swapped ends less than a semi length away from
Oh,
us.
that's a scary sight when you see a semi.
And I was passing a semi, and he was in front of the semi I was passing, and all of a sudden, he was facing us and then slid into the ditch, and somehow nobody got hurt.
I don't know how semis don't roll over more. Like I've seen 2 of them spin around on the highway, and like it seems like their center of gravity would be way too high, but they stay upright. I don't know.
We were doing like 40 mile an hour, and if you put any amount of throttle, it just spin.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a truck. He did have snow tires on, but man.
Well, you
it
had
was
to
a bad
get
day.
to that swap meet because that's what he
Had to
wants
get to
do.
that swap meet.
He wants to do a swap meet more than anything in the world, according to your last
I want to
podcast.
so bad. I love swap meets. They're my favorite thing in the world.
I just want to see like a JDM swap meet.
Yeah, I would love to do a swap meet at
Because that
a
would probably
Gridlife
be pretty
event.
cool.
Yeah, you can.
I'm pretty sure from the sounds of it, Jabaay could have half the booths there. It'd just be all Honda stuff.
Oh, I see
but-
how it is now. That's why he wants to have a swap meet.
I don't want to
You
carry all
gotta
that.
make some cash.
I don't want to carry all that shit to Gridlife. I'm busy. No, I would actually kind of like to see one of those at Gridlife. I got to talk to. I got to sell that to Chris. We'll see if that happens. But I'll put you in.
Let me
I'll
know.
put you in charge of it. But
Absolutely.
I don't want to deal with that. Yeah, there's.
You don't have enough going on that weekend. What's a swap meet?
I think I only slept 6 hours at Gridlife this year.
That's a lot, man. You're fine.
It was pretty rough.
That was the long. I've been in a.
We did get to cuddle that one night though.
We did. Yeah, we did. Austin and I
We
shared
did.
a
In
bed.
the
It was
trailer?
great.
No, we shared a bed in the house. It was great. Yeah, we rekindled our love. Yeah, that was a long weekend. I'm glad you guys came out to that though. That was cool.
Yeah, it was a,
what
it was a really good
what
time.
do you guys think? What's the official 10/10 review of Gridlife Midwest?
I think everybody should go. Like, if you've been on the fence about it, you're not sure, just go. It's out of control.
But it's slightly in control, right?
Well,
The
it's
motorsports are in control.
it's
Yes.
good out of control.
Yeah, the stuff that Austin and I have to deal with is super
Oh
controlled.
jeez.
That stuff was definitely in control. Yes. It was way more fun than even I thought it was going to be, and I had high expectations
Good,
for it.
good. Yeah,
And it's ruined my life because now I've in the process of converting the RX-7 to a drift car.
yeah. So when
that's-
where are you going drifting? What are you doing?
So this weekend, there's an O Drift Collective event at RPM, and that's, what is that? Raceway
Park of the
Midlands. It's in Pacific Junction, Iowa, which is
Basically Omaha.
Yeah, they used to be
So-
Mid-American
Nebraska.
Motorsports Complex.
It
or
used to be
whatever.
Mid-America Motorplex.
Motorplex. Yeah.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, yeah. So they do one of those out there once a month, and they do them. They probably do 6 a year, 7 a year, probably about as many as they can fit in, and it's pretty cool. I really like the atmosphere. To be completely honest, I was kind of tired of the politics of autocross. I mean, it doesn't seem like autocross should be that difficult, but we were having a lot of political issues and drama, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Well, it's an
not fun.
election year, dude. You know. Jeez.
Can't get away from it.
Yeah.
So went out there and just shot some pictures and hung out with those guys, and they're all pretty cool, and it's pretty relaxed. And I mean, they obviously are worried about safety. You know, if you're going to do tandem drifting, you need to have a full cage,
Okay.
which is completely understandable. Obviously you got to have a Snell helmet. You got to have, if you're going to be media out there taking pictures, you got to have a vest. So it's a safe environment, but they're really trying to make it fun and try to keep the BS to a minimum. So it was good. I really enjoyed that aspect of it because as I said, I was kind of tired of the political nonsense. So, going to try to go out there on Saturday because I'm pretty sure this is Jabay's fault, but I wasn't planning on ever drifting the Fiat because it's so counterintuitive and stupid.
It's an
and
old Fiat.
It's an old Fiat. It's a vintage, road car that's been
70
converted into a race car.
74?
It's a 74 Fiat 124. It is rear-wheel drive. To try to justify what I'm doing, I looked up the specs versus a Miata, because there are a lot of Miatas out there that drift.
Okay.
It's almost the exact same size and, wheelbase and wheel track and all that. And I'm running basically the same tires that those guys run, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Did you get some of those
Apparently, what do you-
Federals or?
I didn't buy the Federals. I found a bunch of Generals. Like, I found some on Craigslist. I had some. They're like one...
Ultimaxes or
Hell
like,
yeah. Hell yeah.
man.
Oh, jeez.
HTs?
They're like $40 a
HTs
tire
or
in that
RTs?
size.
No, dude, I paid like $20 for 2 of them and then like $40 for another 4 of them.
How
$10.
old are they? Because those are
Oh, who
probably
knows?
tires that I sold in Iowa when I had that
Oh,
for
crap.
General.
Got Austin's
You're
old tires.
doomed.
Like 10 years
You're
old.
doomed.
So I'm going to try those. We'll see what happens.
Do you have a GoPro, Michael?
I have lots of cameras,
All right.
and I have somebody coming with me that can take pictures.
Yeah, this needs to be documented.
This is so stupid. And the more I think about this, I'm like, this is the stupidest
Is
thing
your
I've ever
dad
done.
going?
Hell yeah, he's going.
Oh, that
And
sounds
He's
so
going to hang out with
fun.
all the JDM drifters.
Does he
yo.
know what he's getting himself into?
no.
He's not going to miss this train wreck. He's got to be there.
Dude, he's there with a camera. I'm sending him out on the track with a vest.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He bought a camera this week.
At our fall event at Gridlife last year at Gingerman, we did an October event, like a 2-day thing, and we had just kind of a casual drift session. And my buddy Tall Kyle, who's been on our show, he brought a 240SX with an RB25.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
I think it made like 340 wheel and like 300 torque. It was fine. It didn't run very well because the ignition switch kept turning off, so we had to like jam a screwdriver in it to keep it alive. It was not sorted at all. But I did one drift session with it, and it was kind of damp, but it was more fun than it should have been. It was really great.
That's what I'm afraid
Yeah,
of.
it was really great.
My problem's going to be power. I put the welded diff back in, so at least I've got that going for me, but it does make more power than a Miata. I'm fairly certain. Bench racing, making that up. But so I'm the only way I can justify it to myself is that I'm running a very similar tire to what the Miata guys that were there last time were running, and I should theoretically be making more power, and there's no walls, and I'm slightly fearless, so I'm okay with clutch kicking it, and if I break something, it's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm going in at 100%. We'll see what happens.
So, does that thing have an LSD in it?
No, I found one.
That'll make it real interesting.
Well, I put the welded diff back in because I have a welded diff.
I didn't realize you had a welded diff. Sweet.
Yeah, so I did find so my article lied. I said the LSD for that car was $1,500. I actually found one that's $500. I have no idea the merits of it, but I might just order it anyway and see how it does.
What kind of
500 new?
Yeah,
what kind of
I don't
diff?
trust that at all.
Yeah, what kind of diff is that then?
it's some Czech Republic something in there.
Yeah, they're known for their differentials.
I know,
It's made
exactly.
out of paper mache or what?
It's made.
The
out,
weird thing is,
it's made out of like 1980s children's tears because their country was dying.
well, that's the thing though. The Czech Republic, the Fiat sold like all of their plans from their 60s and 70s cars to the Czech Republic because they're like, we're not going to make this shit anymore. Here, you guys try it. So Lada started making all of these Fiat parts and calling them Ladas. So these guys are obsessed with Ladas. If you go on YouTube, they've got like these 124s they're like the sedan, but it's called a Lada something. I have no idea what it is. They'll put like turbos and shit on. They'll make like 300 wheel horse. There's dyno videos of them
That's
on
kinda
YouTube
rad.
and stuff. Yeah,
So,
people
You
get
should
really
do that
serious.
for sure.
When are you going to do the Lada badge swap, man?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if they made a Lada Spider.
Freaking CRDM, dude.
There you go,
Bro.
man.
Well,
That'll go right in with your Korean domestic market,
Yeah,
yo.
KDM.
KDM.
yo.
yeah, don't
Yo.
you drive a Hyundai daily?
Speaking of
Veloster
that,
Turbo.
Speaking of that, did
sir.
you just see that Bizimoto is putting a Hyundai
Yes.
V6?
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, I saw that today.
That's the
So
greatest.
at first I saw it, I was like, what the hell? Like this is stupid. And then I started thinking about it more because I have this weird. If people can't figure this out that are listening to this from Slipangle, I have really weird taste in cars. So I love the Genesis Coupe, and I've always wanted one, and I don't know why I don't own one. I almost bought one when I bought the Veloster Turbo, but
Because you're slightly smart?
The coupe meaning, is that the four-door? or
That's why you don't own one?
what's
What's wrong with the coupe?
what's wrong with the Coupe?
the Genesis coupe? Is that the four-door or the two-door? I don't even know which one you're talking about.
Coupe,
The-
coupe is
the
two.
two-door.
Okay.
Sedan
Means
would be
two-door.
four.
Which one do you
Don't
like?
get me started
Do you
on
like the V8 or
how-
do you like the four-cylinder?
So they do
you
the
don't get the V8. It's the V6, the 3-liter V6.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. I meant the
or
V6.
the 2-liter turbo.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you get the sedan, you can get the 5-liter.
The
Don't get me
V8.
started on the sedan.
Yeah,
how
that's what
sweet that
I'm
is.
thinking of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the sedan is dope. It's sweet.
Back when they came
I
out,
saw my first one in the wild last week, and
I've never
and
seen
it's-
one. I've never seen one ever.
It's got some presence about it.
R,
It's quite
you
a
need the
car.
R spec, so you get the 5-liter V8, and then you put straight pipes on it.
Oh, so rad. Is that a twin
Is that
cam?
the same? Is that the same car as the Kia like K600?
It
Or
might
is that
be
something
it might
else
be.
like higher up?
or the
that it shares with?
K900.
I think that
Oh,
that would probably
K900.
be the Equus, because that was
Oh,
like
there we go. There
Maybe.
we go.
Hey,
the
That's what I was
Hyundai
looking for.
Equus
Do you
is
guys
supposed to be
know
like
what
the
just
top of the
happened?
line one.
No.
We combined our shows into the worst automotive podcast ever.
No one is listening to this anymore.
Freaking talking about freaking.
Are you guys
Ladas.
talking about the K900 and the Lada? Get out of here. You thought this is going to take you to the top of the charts? No, sir. We are down at the bottom now.
Well, the problem is that Adam and I both like goofy stuff too.
Yeah, that's a problem. That is the problem.
That's the problem.
That's why we have Robbie to balance us.
all my coworkers when we were in Mexico this week thought I was just the stupidest person ever because I was like, oh my god, a Volkswagen CrossFox! I've never seen one of those. It's just like this like super
So
tiny
sick, dude.
It's like an SUV based off like the Volkswagen Polo.
the
You know,
the
it's
old,
just
I'd have that.
didn't the old Volkswagen
Yeah,
Fox have like a 4-cylinder that faced front to back, but it was still front wheel drive?
That's the way that I think that's the way that
A4.
Dasher was.
I think I did an exhaust on one of those in college. It was the worst. It was like a Jetta, only shittier. It was so bad. It was like the worst '80s car I've ever seen.
like a Sirocco,
No, it was like a 4-door Scirocco, but like not.
the Fox.
Yeah, it was a Fox. Yeah, it was.
They
think
made the
that's- I
Fox
think
in
that
a
was the
shooting
Audi.
brake though, man. I want one of
What?
those. Yeah, it's like a wagon. It's a 2-door
Really?
wagon.
Oh, hell yeah.
Volkswagen Fox.
I need
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Robbie hates those things.
Dude, that Passat that you had, Austin, I can't remember the backstory on that, but that Passat that you had for sale for a little
Oh,
while.
the Dasher?
Yeah, the
was
Dasher,
sweet,
the
man.
Dasher.
I didn't have it for sale.
It was a buddy of yours, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted that
So,
thing so
GMS
bad.
wagon.
Dude,
Like
it
I
was
was,
in really nice shape.
it was in great shape.
I'd never heard of a Dasher, and I'm a Volkswagen guy to some extent.
Like
Is that-
on episode like 15, we had Greg Ami, SCCA racer buddy, on, and he was talking about his first race car, and it was a VW Dasher, and Austin and I were both like, what's a Dasher?
What the hell is a Dasher?
The hell is that?
And then at our spring shakedown event, a Gridlife shakedown event in May, Austin
Yeah.
Austin shows up in a VW Dasher.
It was so cool.
Like a-
It was so clean.
Like a perfectly restored exterior and like super mint
It had
and
like
like
100,000 miles on it. It
Yeah.
was a 78.
so random.
Price was reasonable, I thought.
Yeah, I think it sold on eBay for like $2,000 or 2,500.
Yeah,
Don't
that's a
tell me
deal.
that.
That's a
Oh,
deal.
man,
I was thinking it was going to go for like
sure.
$4,000.
That's a lot of car for that much money.
No, it's
man.
not.
figured
It's-
it'd be way more
let's
than
not get
4
crazy
even.
here.
New daily.
I mean, I'd rather have a Cavalier with JDM badges.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Toyota Cavalier. Hell yeah. Now you're talking. Now you're speaking my language, dude. Let's talk the song
Right-hand
of my
drive,
people.
the whole 9 yards.
Yep. Did those things come with quad 4s? Those JDM Cavaliers that were made by Toyota? Or
I don't know what the Toyota Cavalier had as a motor. I don't know if it had the Quad 4 or if that was late enough to have the Ecotec or if they even had the Z24 package
Wasn't
for
the-
those, if they were all just a 2.2.
I read the other day that the quad 4 was like a badass motor, but I don't know anything about it.
you
It's-
got to talk to Mike Taylor about that, man.
Yeah, I have, but not on the show. We talked just a little bit the other day at Mid-Ohio about it, and he was like, man, the quad 4 was so fast.
He has a bunch of like rare quad 4 racing parts that he bought off the team that like did the factory backed Oldsmobile effort.
Yeah,
There's
for
some
whatever-
crazy
yeah.
random parts out there for that motor.
I think he
Some
owned
really weird stuff.
He owned like one of the only limited slips for that trans. I think he had one of the only.
Yeah, I think
Quakes.
it's one of like 3 in existence.
Yeah. The OPM did they raced some in I think in ITA back in the day, and I guess they were super unreliable when they ran. They were just they were dominators.
Rocket ships, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that motor, but I know somebody.
I'd like to do a Lemons Cavalier just because I know it, and my close mechanic buddy is also a Cavalier aficionado.
you should just
and
buy
so
my
I
Lemons
feel
car,
like
dude. Buy my Lemons car.
I don't know anything about Honda.
It's so easy. You don't have to fix it. You put gas and oil in it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, that car's bulletproof, man. You guys have run it at events like every single session for the whole weekend a couple times, no problem.
Yeah, we ran 3 drivers in it at Mid Ohio at ITR Expo 12 in 2012, and like it was on track the whole weekend. It didn't come off. It came off and got filled with gas and went back out. It was the greatest.
I'm not entirely convinced that you and James from Kanga Motorsports aren't conspiring against me on
Do
that
it.
car.
Buy it.
Was he messaging
Yeah,
you last?
he sent me a message last night. He's like, "Hey, dude, you want to do a lemons race?" I was like, "Excuse me,
That
sir."
stemmed from a conversation he was having with me about getting me in wheel-to-wheel racing. He goes, "Dude, we got to make this happen."
Yeah, you should.
And then he's like listing all these things I could do.
You guys.
And he's like, hey, and it's like, you don't want to do this. We could do lemons. There's one in Gingerman.
Yeah, the
I bet we
easiest
could get
way.
Slipangle-
Yeah.
I bet we could get the Slipangle guys.
So Jabaay sends me a message, says, "Hey, you should buy my lemons cart." Then the next day, James goes, "Hey, you want to do a lemons race?" And then I actually look up the next lemons race. It's on my birthday at Gingerman. I was like, "This is the world conspiring against me." That's what this is.
Here's your
I think you should just give in. You just need to give in.
your easy button to getting your SCCA and then your NASA license, Robbie, is to do a lemons race, and then do another lemons race, and you do it with me, and then you sign up for the Atlanta region in SCCA, and then you do their alternative drivers path, and then I send somebody a letter and say, hey, this dude's fine if you're fine. If you're terrible, then I won't.
Fair enough.
And then you get your comp license, and you're done. Easy peasy.
I like
This isn't
that.
the
You can
worst
whip that
idea.
out at bars.
Yep.
That'll pick up women for sure.
Yeah,
Easy
Jess-
peasy.
Jess will
I got
appreciate
his girlfriend's
that.
gonna love
comp
that.
Yeah.
license. What's up?
Let's, the other
I might
day
try this.
the other day at Mid Ohio, we were buying food and on the way there, and my SCCA license is like the first thing in there, and somebody's like, "Ooh, are you going racing?" The cashier. Yeah,
Did she give you a little wink,
totally
or was
works.
it a dude?
Yeah, no, it might have been a dude. I'm not sure. It was a very unpretty Ohio lady. But yeah, that's
What are you saying about Midwest women?
That's how you pick up all the chicks, man.
He's from Chicago. He
Oh,
can
that's
say
right.
that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm mostly Midwest. It's fine here. Whatever. But yeah, the lemons racing is fun. That was how I got into wheel to wheel. It's not a bad way to burn $500 in fuel in a weekend.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a lot of people trying to make this happen for me, so I don't really have a choice anymore. I just have to do it.
Well,
The problem is you put it out there on the internet.
I know.
if you guys
And, like,
want to do
more
one,
than one-
if you want to do a race, like sign up for a race, and like I'll finish. I'll re-prep my car, and
I'll fly up.
all it needs is an
I'm in. I'm in.
It needs an
They're right there.
extinguisher. Like I need to put. They changed the rules since the last one that we raced, and we need to put a fire system in it, which is like $300 or $400. Like whatever.
We can't just put a lighter. That's a pretty good fire system.
Well, yeah, that's a way to make the fire.
What if I don't want it to not be on fire?
Yeah, what if we just, if it burns, and you walk away from it?
Yeah, that's not in the spirit of their safety rules. But yeah, it's a totally reliable car. We actually ran it on 3 cylinders for 8 hours one time, and it didn't blow up. So.
God.
Yeah, it used to have one of the crappy
You
heads.
should totally buy it.
No,
Yeah, I should buy it now for sure.
One of the old motors. It was a CVCC engine, which has this like weird emissions valve, which is like off of a hole in the combustion chamber. It's like this. It's an extra valve, and that valve stuck open while Lee Grimes from Coney was out. And he comes in and he said, "It's down on power. I think it's missing a cylinder." And we spent like 20 minutes figuring it out. And then we just unplugged the fuel injector and unplugged the spark plug. And Lee went back out for 3 hours. My brother went out for 3 hours, and Luke Wilcox went out for 3 hours, and we finished the race for the weekend. So, yeah,
I guess it'd be all right.
they're really reliable. Super. It doesn't have that motor in it anymore. Don't worry.
It burns less fuel when it's a cylinder down too.
It did.
right?
It did.
It's more efficient.
We could go from like 2.5 hour stints to 3 hour stints.
There you go.
Yeah, dead serious. And we only lost about 7 seconds per lap on South Course at Autobahn.
Only?
Yeah, because you didn't have to brake at all because you had no straightaway speed, and so all of a sudden you became it was like the car could beat everybody into patience and into the turn before patience on South Course. Like you could bomb all the cars on the inside line. It was so fun. It was really fun to drive, and even when it's running at full tilt, you can outbrake anybody. It's still a low horsepower car, but
Is that like a mid-pack car in an average lemons race then?
we've won a B class, and we've came within winning like every time the car finishes a race without big mechanical issues. Like when the cylinder 3 lost, the only mechanical issue we had was the first race. The fuel cell was the original one, and it had varnish in it, so we had to change the filter like every 50 laps. And then the race where we lost the cylinder or lost the valve. But all the other races that we did, we finished like top 3 in B class. So, and we still finished like what would have been like top 15 overall. But yeah, Yeah, it's super competitive. It was really fun, but I don't know. It's got a 16-gallon cell in it, so how big is your bladder? It'll go for 3.5, 4 hours.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, if you have caution laps, it'll go over 4 hours. So it's it'll stretch stretch your bladder, and you'll look for holes in the floor to whip it out and aim for. Yeah. Anyway, if you want to do one, we can do one. I'm down for doing one next year. I don't want to do one this year. Not this year.
Yeah, and I'll fly up. I need some Midwest time.
We
next spring, let's make it happen.
Yeah, we've already talked about spring for sure. I don't think it'll happen this year, but
we got to get Austin to buy a driver's suit and get a comp license. So
I need a new helmet now too.
Yeah, we got to get you to buy all that stuff.
I'm completely divested right now.
You sold it all, huh?
Oh yeah, everything's gone.
Austin couldn't fit anything else into the Jetta on the way to California.
Nope.
Yeah,
it's all gone.
So for
everything.
So for 10 tenths listeners, Austin just moved to California. I live in Chicago. We've only done probably 20 podcasts like in the presence of each other. We usually do them over Skype or cell phones or whatever. But yeah, so now he moved from Atlanta to Chicago, and he sold his entire life.
No, so. Atlanta to L.A.
No, yeah,
not Atlanta to
L.A. I've had 2 drinks, and I've been sitting at the desk for like 4 hours editing podcasts.
See, I still have daylight right now.
It's been dark here for 3 hours, and it was the hottest day ever.
Yeah, it was miserable today. We're in Des Moines.
It was 90.
Yeah, that storm's coming for you.
It was 97 today, and 100% and like 90% humidity, and I've never sweat so much in my life. I hate my job.
Well, you better get used to it. That's how Atlanta's going to be for Gridlife.
Well, you're coming too, so we can
shit.
deal with it together. Well, how many autocrosses have you guys done this year? Have you been out at all, or?
I think
I'm the only one that's really done any autocrosses because my car works.
I've done
you did
2.
that couple.
I've done 2, but only 1 in my car.
You broke that wheel.
I broke a wheel.
Yeah, a few shows ago you were talking about your new coilovers and stuff.
Yeah, so so we race on this little what used to be a go-kart track. It's about a half-mile long, and you're out there by yourself. It's still time trial, but there's no cones, so I don't know if you want to call that autocross or not. But I've done 2 of those with the Omni and 1 actual cone event with the Omni since I put the coilovers on it.
Okay.
And they have a long ways to go before they're dialed in because I've never had any adjustability before, and now I have double, so I have rebound and compression, and so I don't know what to do with any of it.
What kind of are they struts or are they shocks? They're struts, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay. What did you go with? Did you go custom stuff or what?
They're made by BC. They're their ER line, which is their higher up line. There's a guy that sells BC stuff, and then he makes his own top hat and spacers for the lower on the front, and then he somehow managed to get BC to machine a different top hat for the back.
Okay.
And the front is actually for an SRT4, and the back is for an early 2000s Lancer.
Sounds legit. Love it.
It works. He did a nice job with the pieces he machined. I mean,
They look gorgeous.
Yeah, he anodized everything.
I have full camber caster adjustability, which I didn't have before. I have, I've got all that now, and it's really a really nice setup.
It's overwhelming to have all the adjustments, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's kind of like
exactly where I'm at right now. I'm like, God, I don't even know what to do.
Where to start?
Max it all out, man.
All the
That's what
time.
it's there for. Just max it all out all the time.
So my alignment right now is that it's all the caster, all the camber, good enough.
All the toe.
Because I have not. Yeah, and it's got a ton of toe because it's an autocross
none of the
rig.
toe. Get rid of all the toe.
That's an autocross rig. You want a lot of them run a lot of toe.
Lots of rear toe.
Yeah.
Lots of rear toe in.
Well,
and
so the rear
toe
is,
out up front.
The rear is really not adjustable because it's just like this solid twist beam thing, and it just is what it is.
So you could adjust it with like a torch and a chain, and like a come along.
We could try a hammer,
And a big
maybe
tree.
sledgehammer.
They make shims for adding camber, but that's about it.
One time we did an alignment on a Sentra SER, like the Spec V or whatever, with a solid rear axle, and it involved a come along, a torch, and a chain, and we got that guy the toe out that he wanted. Totally worked.
That's sketchy.
Terrible
No,
idea.
it's totally legit. That's how people do it.
So your autocross rig is down. Mine works, but it's been converted into a drift car temporarily, and Robbie's has been broken, but your ECU's coming back. So
We should have a good idea of if it's running or not on Saturday or Monday.
You said it ran on somebody else's ECU or a different ECU?
Well, I got this ECU from somebody it's used. I replaced the wiring harness. I replaced the ECU, and this is just an RS Enthalpy flashed OEM ECU.
Okay.
And I had an AEM Series 2 in it with a sketchy wiring harness. And then I had it running, and it would just lose power at boost, like it would misfire.
Yeah.
And then as I was trying to figure that out, it developed a misfire in cylinder 1 that I couldn't really figure out where it was coming from. So I just yanked all of it out of there and replaced it with this new wiring harness and this RS Enthalpy tuned ECU. And even with a tune that's not quite the same as mine, had similar injectors and everything else was kind of this, like in the right ballpark, it ran, and it ran a lot smoother than the AEM ever did, but it was clearly not tuned right.
Yeah.
So now the tune should be here this week.
Are those mass airflow cars, or what are they?
Yep, I was on MAP, and now I'm on MAP.
Okay, so with the AEM, you were on a MAP sensor.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about 240s, so.
Turns out neither do I.
Yeah, what should be like the easiest swap of all time, putting an SR 20 in a 240, has turned into a real hassle for Rob.
apparently it's harder than we are led to believe on the internet.
Well, I think if you just take an SR20
and
and
put
just
straight
put it in, don't change nothing,
just straight in.
it'll work.
Perfect.
If you try to modify it in any way, it goes wrong.
There's some really old Sport Compact car articles that walk you through it step by step.
Yeah, didn't Dave Coleman do it in
Yeah, just
they
go to
did.
a library
I
and
think
get
there
them out of the
was
archive.
There was one issue where they walk you through a CA18 DET swap.
I
an
remember that
SR20
one.
swap.
Yeah, I remember this
And then
issue.
an RB26 swap too.
Yeah, I remember
Or maybe
that
it's
one.
an RB25 swap, but still.
That's the swap you should be doing.
Yeah, the
RB25
RB26 probably would have been cheaper.
Although
By the time it was all said and
modern day
done.
standard, you just put an LS in it and walk away.
Have you considered a
That's what
VQ35?
It's much easier.
My buddy Casey Penn, he had an SR20 swap one that was like a NASA TT car, and he went to a VQ35. And the first lap that I ever did around VIR, Virginia International Raceway, was in the wet in his VQ35 car, and he had like custom long tube headers on it. It was a VQ35 HR or whatever, the high rev. Or whatever.
Best sounding
That had to
engine.
sound so
Oh my
Oh,
goodness! It
man.
was I remember going through Hog Pen at VIR and then coming onto the front straight, and he got a little bit sideways, and I just remember the noise, and like it's one of those things that, your brain just kind of like clicks like a quick clip in your head, and you can just picture it forever. It was the greatest. The noise of that VQ was so good.
I want one of those.
Maybe I should buy a 350.
Oh, they're so
Yes.
rad.
Yes,
They-
approved.
they're so cheap now.
They are. They're like $5K for a decent one.
And they're dual wishbone all around,
yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. That seems like a bargain that a lot of people don't
They're
know
like
about right
1,000 pounds too heavy, though. That's the problem.
There's something weird about the rear suspension too. The shock and the spring are not mounted together.
Yeah. I think it's like
Something
I think it's
weird
an
about that.
outboard
I don't-
spring and the shock is inboard or something like that. But
now.
Yep.
Inboard.
Yep.
Oh, the other issue is
Can you not convert it?
I don't know.
You
sure you
can,
can
but you have to
convert it.
heavily reinforce where the shock mounts because it's not designed for all the weight,
Plus,
which a cage would fix.
aren't the brakes weird? Isn't it like the
I lost 2 weeks of my life trying to bleed the rear brakes on a 350Z.
because the bleed point is not the low point in the system.
Yeah, the bleeder's not the lowest point on the brake caliper,
Well,
and
Just gotta turn the car over.
Despite lots and lots and lots of internet searching, no one would ever tell us that.
yeah.
And so what we ended up doing was we had troubleshot it down to the point that we knew it was the back. And so what we ended up doing was removing the calipers and then putting wood in there so that when we squeeze the brake, it wouldn't just push the pistons out.
Yeah.
And held it at just the right angle to bleed it out.
That's a good way to
You
do
can't
it.
you can't vacuum it out either. We tried that. We built a system with a
Suction
shop
rig.
vac, and I remember we built block offs or like little plugs that we could put in at the master cylinder so that we could figure out if it was front or rear or if it was just one corner that had the air in it. And we spent a lot of time.
This is not a buddy of ours has
Had
350Z. It was that rare. What was that color? It was like a purple.
some midnight
Yeah, that's a good
Really
looking
made
color.
like
I
that.
like the color a lot.
500 of those or something.
Yep.
Something low, some anniversary or something like that. I don't know.
But he covered the front bumper in gummy bear duct tape.
He kissed a wall and he liked it. So
Broke the bumper.
Kissed a wall and I liked it.
I've hated all the times that I kissed walls. I hated it so much.
So in order to cover up the scratches, we wrapped his front bumper in gummy bear duct tape.
It's a
Nice.
brilliant solution.
Then he got a 1010 sticker slapped right on the top of it. It was great.
So now it's permanently marked.
I don't have any 1010 stickers. I don't think you gave me any.
I think we forgot all of them when we went to Gridlife because we're really bad at
We're organized.
promotion.
You
Apparently.
did have T-shirts though.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
We did, and we sold them all
Sold
at
them all,
Gridlife
yeah.
even.
Yeah, we don't
All
have any
two of 'em.
T-shirts. We're blowing it, Austin. And I'm giving
Yeah.
I'm giving away too many stickers. Like too many people are like, "Hey, can I have one of those? I've been on your show."
Why don't we just put the stickers on the T-shirts and call it a day?
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Just get some
So
cheap
one-
T-shirts
one
from Walmart.
use thing.
So yeah, just get some Hanes $5
That's
shirts.
just one more thing to worry about. Like we can't even get episodes out on time.
Hey, I
You
got-
think we're gonna like ship T-shirts?
Speaking-
Organized, handle money.
Dude,
Are you kidding me?
The past week I've been on point. I already got tomorrow's episode loaded.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're ready to go, baby. You got to
Ahead. We're way ahead of schedule.
I need you to make me a track-tuned article about it though, because I don't know how you put the little sound thingy where you click on it and listen. I don't know how to do that.
You don't know how to make the posts?
No,
I'll
not.
hop on Skype one night and walk you through.
Yeah,
it.
I'm not very good at things.
If you know how to do that, you probably don't know how to do that.
No, I figured out Skype tonight. It only took me 12 minutes. Yeah, the race weekend at Mid Ohio this weekend. Lee Grimes, his father-in-law spent probably 8 hours bleeding the brakes on Lee's car. And I mean, his father-in-law is like probably 75, 80 years old, and he's got this crazy bleeder contraption that like it's a giant vacuum pump and like multiple chambers to catch the fluid and stuff. And bleeding brakes gets serious business in the paddock. So we spent a lot of time looking at cracked bleeders on Lee's car. But
We built that ourselves using a shop vac.
that's not enough
So-
vacuum.
Yeah. You were
Speaking
desperate
of-
at that point, though.
Speaking of building yourself at Gridlife, the event that you guys came to, I think Adam, what was it, Adam? Chris turned to you at one point backstage,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and what did he say?
Yeah, we were backstage, and he's like looking at the whole crowd, like bopping up and down, listening to whoever, what's his nose, and Chris yells to me, "I made this in my basement."
Because Chris's office or his desk is in his basement,
and
so,
his
like,
basement,
literally everything.
His basement regularly floods too, so he probably was up to his ankles while he was like booking those artists. But
Are you guys gonna make it down to Road Atlanta?
Not this year. I would
Oh,
love to.
come on,
I would
man.
absolutely love to.
I told him I'd give him press passes. They didn't bite.
This is the other thing. Jabaay just instigates. That's all he does.
I'm really good
He
at
and I
that.
have
I'm
no
super good at
relationship
that.
other than him sending me a message. Hey, you want to buy this car? Hey, you want to come to Gridlife?
Hey, let's.
Hey, you should look at
Well,
this.
there was that one
seen
night.
this car on eBay?
There was that one night where you tried to get me to buy a TVR from like England or something too.
There was.
So-
Tell me that's a bad idea.
We got on
though.
some weird kick where we're like, we should import cars. It's 24. That's right. We were on the
talked to
GTR
a guy.
kick.
Oh,
for a
that's
while.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Because we were talking about Tall Kyle, and then we had our buddy Lucas Shea on, and he imported his R32,
Yeah.
and we were like, well, we don't have to import cars from Japan. We can import cars from anywhere. And then so we just started searching 25-year-old cars on ebay.co.uk, and I found the most random like old beat to shit TVR race car.
Oh hell yeah.
It was pretty sweet though.
Yeah, we
But it
should
was
probably
like $2,000. It
Yeah.
was sick.
They're cheap there.
The
Yeah.
See,
I don't know what it'd be worth here, but
TV
I try and get Adam to buy stuff all the time.
all the time. Currently, my mind has drifted back to RVs. I really want to buy an RV again.
Yeah.
That orange
Man.
Miata I sent you this week isn't worth
That
it.
thing was so rad. It was Emilio from
Such a
949
deal.
Racings. Oh, it was such a deal.
Such
Oh,
a
I
deal.
bet that'd be
13
sweet.
grand,
Yeah.
fully prepped with an AIM system.
Is that
Zetas,
Super
2
Miata build or is
Yeah,
that a
it was
spec
the
Miata?
orange Super Miata build. So like the Super Miata that wins all of their stuff. I guess they're building a new car.
If they did that here in the Midwest, then we could talk. But
There's talk of it, but one of the biggest proponents, Dan Howard, is actually moving out here to work for 949. So, yeah, so he's out of Ohio, but he was actually out. They were looking at apartments a couple weeks ago, and he was here. We had a couple beers on the porch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Super Miata series is something I could get into. If that was over here, I would think about a Miata. I'm such a CRX nerd, though. I have so many cars and parts.
And you just picked up another one recently.
I actually started paying for that 6 months ago, or whenever I crashed my car. I sent the dude $200 to reserve the shell. But my car is alive again, so now I'm going to probably keep my current car and build the next one this winter, and then rent my current
I
now
want to see
looking-
your street car.
Well, the new one has a title, so I'm gonna make it like an antique vehicle registered track car. But
See, now looking back to when was that? March when that happened?
yeah, it was March when I crashed at Rhode Island.
Adam was so bummed. He was texting me. He was like, man, I'm going to have to retub the car. Was so bummed for probably a week.
I
And
probably
then you didn't think you'd be able to fix it.
I probably could have built a new cage in the time it took me to yank all the parts out and re-front end the car, but I would have had to swap all the parts over, and so that's another week worth or 3-4 nights worth of work. But yeah,
The best video though is with that thing chained up to the tree in the backyard, and you're just driving.
I think
was that Tall Kyle that was doing that?
yeah,
or was that
I think
you?
Kyle filmed it, and I actually I over for people listening, my car got sandwiched on the start of a race at the Road Atlanta SCCA Majors. A car at the front of the line missed a shift and went from second to first instead of second to third, and then the car behind him almost hit him because a rapid slowdown, no brake lights. Car behind that guy bumped him, and then the car behind the guy behind him rear-ended that guy, and then behind me, I had just enough gap. I got stopped, and then an RX-8 plowed into me, downshifted, and then plowed into me 40 miles an hour. And so the back of my car was pushed in about 18 inches. The front of my car was pushed in about 10. All the parts everywhere were wrecked, and so I started pulling the car out and making it a car again. And my next race was last weekend, but I did a ton of track days in between, so... With Gridlife, I didn't have much time to race, but yeah, I did race in Mid-Ohio last weekend. So, well, yeah, it's a car again, but I kind of want to build another one.
There was a lot going on last weekend. So you were at Mid-Ohio, right? And then NASA was at Gingerman?
Yeah, NASA was at Gingerman, our old home track.
Didn't Brad Adams run a 143 or something?
Yeah, he ran a
in qualifying?
43.3, and then he reset the track record with a 44.3. Which seems like
that is
it's so fast for a stock B16.
Yeah.
The weird thing with Honda Honda Challenge, a lot of times in the Great Lakes they put them back of the pack. So they've got all these spec 944s and spec Miatas and spec E30s to pass. That's why you can never get a clear flyer lap like you can in qualifying. So, but to reset the lap record, you got to do it in a race. So. That's why his the race record is a second off of his qualifying record. But yeah, that kid.
Right.
That
Seems
kid's
like a
wheeling
really
it.
annoying.
No, it seems like fun rule. Passing cars is a fun time.
Well, I understand that, but who cares when the lap record was done as long as it was during a sanctioned event?
Yeah, that it would make sense to do it during qualifying, but they don't do tech inspection after qualifying. So that's why you could get away with cheating a little bit more. Typically most sanctioning bodies don't even weigh cars until after the race. So yeah, you could be hundreds of pounds underweight and blah blah blah. So that's typically why they only do it during races. So.
Thanks for the tip.
Yep, that's right. All that knowledge is spewing out of my face hole. But the Mid-Ohio race, I got to pass lots and lots of cars because on Saturday I did okay. I got up to third place or second place in class and fourth overall or something like that in my group. And then on Sunday I threw it all away at the start and totally blew it. And so in the Sunday qualifying race, and then the qualifying race puts you in the position for the feature race on Sunday night. So I started 16th or something, and I got to pass tons of cars. And it's really almost more fun to just kind of work your way through traffic than it is to it is to watch the really fast guy pull away from you. But yeah, it was a fun weekend. I had a good time. Cars in one piece, and even though I tried to put it into the wall over and over and over. Yeah.
It seems to be a little tail happy from what I saw on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a little tail happy on the start. The CRXs are really short.
Are you guys super pumped about Atlanta then?
Yeah, I am. I want to get it over with so we can stop thinking about it. But
Yeah. I'm excited. I just know how hot it's going to be, and I'm not looking forward to that, especially, coming from LA. where it's just beautiful most of the year.
The
So,
music
not-
lineup is more diverse than it was at Gingerman.
Got Waka Flocka.
Andrew WK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
So it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Somebody shared something that Waka Flocka Flame had put on Facebook, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, let's just click on this and see, get some information on this guy. He has 10.9 million followers on Facebook. It's crazy. So many people.
I think we lost our call.
Hello?
Hey, you guys still there?
Wah, wah.
Yep, I'm here.
Austin's still there. I think we lost him,
you guys
buddy.
still
Hey
there?
guys,
Did the-
are you there?
Did the
Now
power
we're
go
back
out?
now.
No, we lost you. I have
Something
no idea what
happened.
happened. It just closed.
That was really weird.
Did you guys
the
keep
call just
recording?
ended for no reason. Yeah, I kept recording.
Good.
Yeah.
That's always
We're good.
It's always the rule to keep recording so that you don't have to fudge that and edit it back into place.
Tips,
figure it
tips that we will share with you that we've learned over time.
Yeah, just leave the recorder going. We're into this thing for like an hour or 10. We should probably shut it off anyway.
Yeah.
My body tells me I need to go to bed, but
Yeah,
I
we're
got an
we're
hour
right
drive
there.
first.
Where can people find out more about 10 Tenths?
You can find 10 Tenths Podcast everywhere because we are social media whores. But our main ones are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you just search 10 Tenths Podcast, you'll find us there. Or 10tentspodcast.com, where we've got links to all our episodes, some photography, a couple write-ups that we've done, just some kind of fun stuff. That's kind of our home base. So that's the easiest place to find all of our different things that we do.
Sweet.
What about you guys?
I don't know.
Tracktune.com, Slipangle show by... I don't even remember anymore,
Yeah,
man.
what is our Facebook?
Tracktune.com is the easiest.
Yeah,
and Grid.life for Gridlife events.
Yeah.
And then Slipangle by Tracktune.com on Stitcher, iTunes, and anywhere else that you like to listen to your podcast, or Google Play, any of that jazz.
Yeah, we need some rates and reviews so that we can beat DWA again. We did get back up into the 20s the other day. So
Weren't we beating them the other day? They took a screenshot.
I don't know. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I think we were like one above. It was like 25, 26, and then some of their buddies were
Oh
at
yeah,
27.
Camden Tubbs was after them.
Yeah, it was 27.
We need to
That's
figure
what we
out.
need to do. We need
One time we got
need to
up to
get our-
third place, and we have no idea how, but we need to do that again.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
We need to get our collective audiences together and get everybody to rate and review both shows
Yeah.
and see if we can both get ahead of DWA and Camden Tub.
Yeah, all you Slipangle guys.
There's the
you-
challenge.
You should listen to these three idiots from Iowa talk about supercars.
You're from Illinois,
Whoa, I
sir.
was
You should know
just-
better.
I was just in Ohio. Give me a break. Yeah, you should check these guys out. They do a pretty entertaining show every Monday morning. I listen to them every Monday morning. I'm sweating my balls off in Chicago, hating my life.
There's a review for you.
Yeah. I'm not actually an iTunes user, so I can't review anything. I should probably sign up, though, so I can review
We're on Google Play, too. iTunes and Google Play. Can you do... We've talked about this, and I always forget. Can you do any ratings on Google Play?
If you can, I don't know how.
I don't know
seems
anything
silly.
about it.
I've looked.
Don't know anything about it.
Anyway, it is what it is.
We got 2 more reviews this week.
Now that
Do we?
now that
Nice.
Austin got a job, like we're not so focused on like someday the podcast needs to make money. So,
Nope. Don't care.
so now it gets to be like goofy silly time again.
You could talk
Which is
about
actually
Kia
like-
K9000
It's a lot
or
more
K900s.
enjoyable.
Yeah, like
It's a lot more enjoyable.
2 or 3 months ago, Austin was like, "Oh, there's so many car podcasts, and now those 10 Tenths guys are out, and like, there's so many people. Like, people are just listening to everything else. They're not listening to us." And then he gets a job, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever, cool."
It's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's the best.
Dude, what did so that's interesting. Not to take up any more time, it's an interesting story. I mean, Adam contacted you, Jabaay, at like we had 3
I just
episode out or
messaged
something.
Slipangle
Oh
because
yeah.
Yeah,
You must have been like,
both
who
of us
are
read the
these
message.
nerds?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Well, so I listened to it, and I'm like, these dudes got better radio voices than I do, and they're kind of entertaining. I think I listened to all 3 in one day, and I was like, yeah, this show's rad. You guys should do more of this.
and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are.
31 or 32
32
now.
or something like that.
Yeah, you had
no, I
your
appreciate
you had your dodecasode or whatever you called it, and your tridecasode.
The tridec-
Tridecasode, Robbie.
Freaking
He was really
nerds.
excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that name.
That's the
It's-
nerdiest
it's
thing
super
I've
cool.
ever heard, Robbie. Excellent job. Yep.
So anyway, we really appreciate the support. You guys have been really cool and helped us and invited us to Gridlife, and that was a great time, and we highly recommend it. So
Cool.
yeah, we just appreciate it. We really do.
All right, well,
I remember how geeked you guys were backstage, man. I was like,
Anybody would have been
these
geeked
guys
back
are
there. Are you
loving
shitting
it.
me?
These
I was
guys
sitting,
are loving it.
I'm sitting there standing
Crazy
next to
night.
Matt Farah with a beer backstage at Gridlife, and I'm like, this isn't so bad.
yeah, it didn't suck. Didn't suck at all.
The most surreal day of my life.
Yeah, not the stupidest thing I've ever done, that's for sure.
I think me and Matt Farah hit about 115 on the way to the track from Clementine's in downtown South Haven in that M2 that he was driving. So, everything about hanging around.
Allegedly.
Everything about hanging around with Matt Farah is weird.
He lives in a different dimension,
yeah,
man.
it's a different life,
a different
man.
world.
Different life. Maybe someday we can't live that life. So
We'll see.
yeah, I said can't. It's not going to happen.
I don't appreciate your
I'm
negativity.
ready to quit my job. Just somebody tell me. Let's do this.
Just get us a big sponsor.
I tried that once, and it's okay for a while until you don't have any more.
Yeah, and then you got to
And then you
start selling your race cars.
I don't have money now, and I do work, so.
It should equal out.
Yeah, I
It's time for Adam to be done. He's dropped his microphone for the second time.
all right, fools. I'm going to sign off and go to bed. So thanks for hanging out.
All right, peace.
Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.